Welcome, everybody, to the Grimdark Breakdown. We're actually going to start doing health checks on every army, kind of give you a pulse and a quick, short video of where is the army and how is it in the current state of the game. So we're going to do some of my favorite guys, the World Eaters. So easy format for us to follow. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking this down, looking at it from a perspective of every army has a certain score that we're going to give them out of 10. So to break it down, here's going to be how the scoring system is going to work. So we've got a couple of categories. So we've got damage output, durability, mobility, scoring ability, internal balance, skill ceiling, matchups, and consistency. So all of these are going to be weighted at a different level. So I have them all the same with three standouts. Internal balance is weighted at 15%, as most of these are at 10. Skill ceiling is going to be at 15% because how hard an army is to really get good at can really make a difference. And then consistency. You could go, okay, one game between matchup, dice, board layout, mission, it's an unwinnable game versus I'm going to win it every time. But consistency is key if you're trying to actually do well at it. So, all that being said, let's just jump straight into it. Damage output. It's probably isn't going to surprise you. World Eaters, right now, in my opinion, are a solid 10. Um, Angron is just a beat stick, whether you're looking at Exalted 8-bound, Khorne, and bricks of Berserkers. Killing stuff is not typically World Eater's problem, and historically hasn't been. But I believe in the current meta, between sustained hits and lethal hits or dev wounds against elite infantry, they actually can do really well killing just about whatever they need. So they get a 10 out of 10 when it comes to damage. Durability, they're not durable. The best you're gonna get is some 5 and some 6 invones, or some no invones and some feel no pains. I think probably our most durable unit is what I've got here. It's a 20-man thing of berserkers being led by a juggernaut lord, because just the volume of attacks you need to be able to do significant damage, because then they're going to blood surge into you and then they're just even closer. So durability, if you're running a 20-man brick, it's actually decently durable. If you're not running a 20-man brick, that's where you kind of got to go, I don't think they're that durable. And they need to be initiating the fight, because if people get angles on them before you know it, your army starts getting pretty scarce and it starts getting pretty rough. Mobility, I actually think we're a 9. There are armies that are faster, Eldari and Burst Children, to think of two right off the top of my head. But our average unit moves like 8 inches. We have access to advance and charge. We have a lot of guys that'll move 10. So we have a 6-inch pilot or consolidate, for with our blood dice. So like we have good movement. So mobility really is not a problem for us. I actually think mobility is one of our best advantages that we have currently going right now. Scoring. This is where we kind of fall down and become kind of a C student. So there's really 3 standout pieces for scoring. The Chaos Spawn are outstanding for early scoring. They scout, they move, they're fast, they can get wherever you need to go, and they're decent enough at killing stuff and decent enough at surviving that they can be a good scoring piece. The Demon Prince with Lone Op is outstanding. Putting a 2-up, 4-up, 10 toughness model with Lone Op on the middle point is it's a problem for a lot of armies. So you just can stand there and score and force them to come to you, which is what you want. So I do think that the Demon Prince is a good scoring tool. And Jackals. Jackals are for most armies trash unit, because we can give them lethal and sustains. They can charge in and clear something off of a point and score. Move 7 makes them decently fast. And they're not bad at going out there and scoring stuff, and they're better than a lot of other armies trash units. So we're not great at it. We really struggle when those secondaries come up. When we get 2 action secondaries, when we typically are about a 9 to 11 unit army, that actually makes it kind of tough to do those. But when it comes to bring it down and no prisoners, let's cook. So that's why we struggle a little in this one. Internal balance. So here's the interesting thing about internal balance. We actually got nerfed in the last data slate, and I don't really know why. We weren't just dominating. But when I look at internal balance, I don't look at just the last one. I look at kind of the state of the army. And right now, the problem world eaters have is multi-layered. So first, we have a very, very small range. So if unit A gets nerfed, you don't have three other units that could theoretically do the same thing you could sub in. If berserkers get nerfed, we do not have another unit to put in its place. They just don't exist. So the easiest example is that when Lord Invocatus got nerfed, we didn't have another named character that really fit that void. And then when the Lord on Juggernaut went up in points, it's like, okay, we struggle because we don't have another character that can fill that void. Or as a perfect example, Angron, which was our giant nuclear option, when he got nerfed as hard as he did, um, he got, unfortunately, the triple tap. So they nerfed his stats, they nerfed his abilities, and they nerfed his weapons. And when that happened, and his points didn't just like plummet, the army feels really weird. There's a couple people doing some crazy stuff with Gortrak, but those are very typically like 20-person tournaments, 30-person tournaments kind of thing. Berserker Warband is pretty much the only way this army is played, which speaks to poor internal balance. And you're really either going MSU, which means multiple scoring units, like so the minimum that you can take of units, or you're going Berserker Span. Those are really the only two builds. And so because of that, there's not a lot of build diversity. So I think their internal balance, it's not terrible because we can win games with both of those builds. But there's not a lot of balance there. All right, still silly. So I have this one. I have this one as an 8, and here's the reason. I do think that World Eaters is a high skill army, which I know a lot of people won't understand. But when you don't have shooting and you have to completely rely on how you move, you do have to understand that. But here's why I still give it a B. Because normally high skill ceilings means that I would give it a lower score. But World Eaters has one caveat. You could be brand new. You could watch one YouTube video, and I'll say this. Turn 1, make sure you don't get shot. You have enough movement, you can go wherever you need. Turn 2, stage. Between turn 1 and turn 2, you need to stage. And then somewhere between turn 2 and turn 3, you press the gas and you go murder, death, kill. Only do your secondaries if it's relevant. Murder, death, kill, and own primary. World Eater players that can adopt that mindset and then start learning how to play the rest of the game, I actually think can do very well. Then as they understand how to do all the other things and the synergistic use of the army, that's where they start really getting in there. When we look at meta matchups, I think we're a 7, and here's why. I think we actually have really good game into Thousand Suns. We do great at killing their Terminators or their Rupert Marines. Their monsters aren't as big and tough, and like one big monster like a Magnus we can deal with. Unfortunately, when we get to the other end, we struggle when there's a lot of them. Guard, I think we're actually pretty decent into guard. Right now with Grizzled, they're running a real hybrid army. So they've got a lot of infantry, and like those 25-man unit, bodies, we're not scared of. Well, Berserkers will chew through them. And, they're Bulgrim, the same thing. We can chew through those units. Forge Fiends are actually pretty spicy into Bulgrim. So there are we do have some versatility. I think guard can be, it's a tough match. You got to think about it, but it's a fully winnable. So it's a good one in my, Space Marines are tough right now, in my opinion, because most of the Space Marines are going multiple hulls, which means multiple vehicles. The average unit's taking only 1 or 2 exalted 8 bound and like 1 slaughter bound. So it's hard. And other than that, it's killing by committee. You're trying to charge a 20-man berserker brick into it, or you're shooting it with a forge fiend and then charging khorne and 10 into it. And it's just, I think we struggle because I think they kill as well as we do, but they score way better than us. Necrons is just, it's a red matchup. We can do well at killing, but the way you beat Necrons when they're running the big monsters is you have to be able to kill 2 of the 4 and then out OC them. But we don't particularly play the OC game well. Berserkers are really our only good OC unit, and they die like paper to these guys. So we really struggle into Necrons because we can't beat them on an OC, and they have profiles that are just really hard for us to kill because those 4-up in bones and then the feel no pains, It's a really, really tough matchup. Lastly, consistency. This is maybe where we get our lowest score. Depending on what the mission is, depending on the layout, some games, I will tell you, are over before they start. So if you're running a 9-unit list, like you're running like a bunch of berserkers, maybe 8, and you go against an MSU guard or Eldari or something like that, game's over. It's an auto win. Like you literally can just unga bunga smash right through them. On the flip side, you get Dawn of War and you're going up against, Ultramarines, it's over. You will not win that game. It is unwinnable. Tau, giant Kroot spam, unwinnable. So there are certain, we're not a versatile enough, our army doesn't have enough versatility to be able to play all the missions and all the games and go, okay, we're not great into this, but we can do it. And these are amazing. We actually have some that it's like, okay, well, this is going to be an early launch because we're going to send it and either I'm going to have some crazy plays or we just lose. So that makes it kind of struggle. So as we get to the end, final score, I think World Eaters are about a 7.5. I think they're a C plus army right now. Absolutely think if you main them, you know all the tricks in the trade, you're good at them. I 100% think you can win, an RT. I think you can 100% win a smaller GT. We'll call it like sub 50 players. If you can win a greater than 100 player GT, you're a very, very skilled player. And in my opinion, you probably also had some luck that helped get you there. Um, I just think that we struggle too hard into the armies that are at the top, and the armies at the top are really popular. So when the top of the meta collides with very popular armies, like as an example, Necrons, or as an example, Ultramarines, Guard. So 3 of the 4 at the top are like 3 of the 4 top most popular armies in the game. We're going to really struggle because a lot of people at tournaments are going to have. I think they're okay. I do think that we need some diversity in our detachments that we can play because everything's balanced around Berserker Warband. And I think that we need a few price cuts on a few models so that we can be competitive in the meta. So hopefully this is helpful. Drop a like for the Emperor, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next one.